Hey everyone, drifting is my hobby here. I guess that you've done seen clips of the Venom Creeper. This is the green one out of the box, the stuff that comes with it. I'm gonna do a whole build on the red one. This is the green one. This is how it all turned out. I'm still not done with it. I'm gonna put my motor and stuff in. Went with the high-tech digital ultra torque servo of the rock crawling stuff. Alright guys, on this week's episode of the top tips and RC help tips and tricks. Number 1 is which way to solder dings, 2 is brush motor break-in, 3 is the oil filter, and 4 is 10 steps to run you're ready to run. So let's go ahead and start in with the dings. I have a lot of people ask me, they want to switch over to the dings plug, as you can see, and they want to know whenever they're doing their soldering which one's hot and which one's negative. So if you've ever seen a dings plug, this is what the component looks like. You got a straight up one and a side to side one. Here's what I always do: is the straight up one, which I like to call vertical. I put the red. Vertical's always red, and the laying down horizontal is always black. So remember that when you guys are soldering up your dings: vertical red, horizontal black. Okay, so that's helping you guys out with the dings. If you got any more questions on them, please leave them down below. Let's see, moving on to the brush motor break-in. Now you can see that I have two different kind of brushed motors. One is called a open end bell, and another one is a factory closed seal bell. Okay, so you can see that. Now what I recommend is two different things for these kind of motors. As far as the closed end bell, this one I'm going to actually get a cup of water and dip it down into it about halfway and leave it hooked into my speed control. Just take the motor out of the car and take off the pinion gear, and then I'm going to actually place that in a bowl of water and actually run it and see the water shoot out just a little bit. That's how I'd break these motors in as far as the closed bells, because once they're going, they're shot. Okay, I do that for about 5 minutes, pull it out, spray some WD-40 or some you got to get some bearing lube, of course, and something else. You need to make sure that the motor's all the way, you spray motor cleaner and it's dried all the way out. Okay, so that's as far as the closed bells. Now for the open bells, you do not want to dip these in water because of the way that the magnets are set. They're a tad bit different, they're a lot different, they're made different completely. Of course you want to take off the pinion, leave it plugged into your speed control, pull it out of the car, and I like to just hold it in my hand and just barely set the trim up on my remote, just a tad bit. As you guys can see, I would just take it and set the trim up just a couple of clicks and then let it spin over for a couple of minutes. But you don't want it to get too hot, okay, because if it gets too hot it'll start cracking the brushes inside. But the open end bells is actually replaceable, so find the model and all that good stuff, go to your LHS or see if you can get it online, and you can order different brushes and stuff like that and rebuild kits. Okay, so that's as far as the brush motor stuff. Next up is the oil filter for your Nitro ready to run. I had a question about running in the rain or the snow. Of course you do not want to be running your Nitro motor when it's pouring down rain, but of course you're going to be messing with the dew, or let's say it just got done raining or something like that early in the morning, how it's got wet grass. I like to take my oil filter and I just really cake the oil on the outside and rub it around my finger after I wash it every hour. I do take care of my air filters and make sure all that is clean, because your engine's carburetor's like lungs. It has to have clean, fresh air. You wouldn't expect to put a dust mask on full of dust and expect to run a quarter mile in wind and do very well. So same thing with your Nitro motor. You want to make sure that the air flow through is clean. As far as the snow, there's not going to be that much on it. But what I like to do is, if I'm using a 2-stage filter, I'd like to just go ahead and just follow the maintenance tips on that and just go ahead and do a little bit extra right on the outside. And also I would suggest cleaning that and changing out your air filter every 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how wet and how much contact is actually hitting it. As far as it going through, I'm pretty much going to say if you really cake that oil on, it's going to stop quite a deal of that, and it's not going to be enough to hurt it in the 15 to 30 minute range. as far as changing out your air filter and gooping on the oil. So that's a suggestion I have for that. Okay. So next tip is actually on 10 steps to run your ready to run. Okay. So the first one, say you guys went out and bought a ready to run vehicle from Traxxas or HPI or Losi or whoever, and you're just getting started and don't really know a whole lot about it. So here's the 10 things that I recommend you researching and getting into. The first one would be read the instructions. That way you can understand the kit and the precautions and all the safety readings and everything like that. Definitely read your instructions on your kit, because it's actually going to give you informative info. Personally, I like the kits because you actually know the ins and outs of it, besides buying a ready to run. But let's just say you're getting started in the hobby. That way you're going to know some basic, simple things, you know what I'm saying, until you have to really dig into the kit itself. Have the necessary tools and supplies on hand. Well, that's something else you're going to have to know. Let's say if you're going to have to invest in some different kinds of tools. You want to make sure you got a pair of pliers, needle nose. You're going to want different drivers for like the glow plug or whatever the case may be. You're going to need glow igniters, of course. So you're going to need to invest in some of that kind of stuff. Fuel. So the next thing is buy the right fuel. With the exception of 1/5 and 1/4 scale cars, all RC cars and trucks run exclusively on Nitro model fuel, not gasoline. So if you know this, then I suggest they go all the way up to 10 to 33% and above. What I like to run, and actually have had a lot of great luck out of, is the 20%, and I like to run Byron or O'Donnell. That's my two preferably. O'Donnell's really going to be the top, I guess. Okay, next, 4, we're going to install batteries. Make sure you install batteries in your remote and inside your car. AA's, you're going to need, 12 of them? Something like that. So make sure that's the first 4 things. 5 is glue your tires. You want to glue the tires down. Most ready-to-run cars and trucks have their tires glued to the rims at the factory. But just in case they don't, you're going to want to pick up yourself some tire glue. CA glue is also what it's known as. Make sure you glue up your tires and all that good stuff. Make sure that the radio has been set correctly, so whenever you're out there to do a test range, have a friend walk out as far as he can with the radio on, adjust the wheels, and see when your signal actually stops. Learn to prime your engine before you start it. Okay, so you're going to cover the exhaust opening while you're hitting it. I've got a video on that. It isn't a lawnmower. Step 8 is so you're not going to be yanking the crap out of it. So remember to just do short strokes if you got a pull start, not long strokes like a lawnmower. They'll end up breaking your string. 9. This is important. Don't brush your brake in. When you get your Nitro motor, it's so sensitive, and all the ABC materials, aluminum, brass, chrome plating, all that ABC, you definitely want to take your time, because it'll depend on how long your engine's going to last. If it's got a poor break in, you might get a gallon or 2 out of it, but if you've actually broke the motor into specification, you might get 10 or 20 gallons out of it. So that's just how that works out. So the final and 10 tip on getting your ready to run together is learn how to turn the engine off properly. And I've got a video on that, so check back with my other RC tips and tricks, and be watching for the other rock crawling vids that I have coming out. If you guys have got any questions about the Venom Creeper, let me know. Other than that, keep your gas tanks full and your batteries charged and the pavement hot. Don't forget to subscribe, watch other videos, leave comments down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's this week's number 7 RC Help Tips and Tricks.